Hello friends, myself Dr. Ghanasham Chavan. Welcome back in the session of Human Anatomy and Physiology 2. In the today's presentation, I will come across with the next process. It is called protein synthesis. In the protein synthesis, we will come across with the process transcription and translation. In last lecture, we have discussed about the genes, DNA and chromosomes. Now today we will prefer the protein synthesis, what it happens. Now in this, genetic information is contained within the nucleus of cell. In each nucleus of each animal, they are having the genetic material, they are having the nucleus. DNA in the nucleus direct protein synthesis, but protein synthesis occurs in the ribosomes located in the cytoplasm. So ribosome is the place where the protein synthesis occurs in cytoplasm, but it can be catalyzed, or it can be proceed, or it can be start from the nucleus. When the DNA nucleus is there, so from that it will start. How does a ribosome synthesize the protein required if it does not have access to DNA? The central dogma of protein synthesis, how it occurs. So here the DNA replication, as we already discussed what is replication, when the one original double stranded DNA is able to produce two identical strands, that process is called as DNA replication. So DNA replication, DNA repair, genetic recombination is here, in which from the fifth primer to the third primer and from the fifth primer to the third primer, in this fashion it will cross over the process in the process of replication. So after that the RNA synthesis will occur by the process of transcriptions. This transverse occurs here, and due to which the protein synthesis, and after the transcription the next process is called protein synthesis. It is also called as translation. So that's why in the process of protein synthesis there are two processes, transcription and translation. Now here in the process of the translation, the final product is protein. It is a chain of amino acid is going to be formed, and it is called as protein. The answer lies in an intermediate substance known as mRNA. Whereas this mRNA is nothing but the messenger RNA. It contains all the messages in the form of codon. Codon is nothing but the triplet form of nucleotides. The information is copied from the DNA into the mRNA. From the original double-stranded DNA, from which there are copies the original information in the same sequence in the form of mRNA, and this is the transcriptions. Is from the one double-stranded DNA, they are carrying the same sequence, same information, and they are preparing the mRNA, which is a single-stranded. So in mRNA is going to be prepared, which is it is the factor which is required for protein synthesis, mRNA. mRNA leaves the nucleus. Once the transcription completes, transcription occurs in the nucleus. In the nucleus, in the DNA, it occurs, and once the transcription completes, it forms the complete strand of mRNA. The mRNA leaves the nucleus. It comes out from the nucleus, and it enters into the cytoplasm of the cell, and it goes towards the ribosome for protein synthesis. Ribosomes use the mRNA as a blueprint. We already know what is blueprint. Blueprint is nothing but the it is a plan on which we are constructing a huge building. So it is just like that. It is a blueprint from which we are preparing a complete protein. So blueprint to synthesize the protein composed of amino acids. So a group of or a chain of peptidyl bond contains amino acid is going to be formed, and here the essential 20 amino acids are involved for forming that chain, and this is called translation. So one should understand what is the process of translation and what is process of transcriptions. Now here in the eukaryotic cell, the uncoupled transcription or translation occurs. So here in the nucleus, this is the DNA, and to this DNA, with the help of this RNA polymerase enzyme, the transcription occurs, and due to which it forms the mRNA. And this mRNA is also having two spots, intron, and that intron is also there and exon is also there. Intron is the non-coding part which doesn't contain any coding, and there is next process, it is called gene splicing or splicing. Spliceosome is there. What it do? It removes this non-coding part, it is also called as intron part, and it connects all the exons to form a mRNA. Here this mRNA come out from the nucleus, it leaves the nucleus, it go into the cytoplasm, it go towards the ribosome, and in the ribosome where the process of translation occurs, and after translation it will form a protein, a group of amino acids will form here. That process is called as translation. DNA, the three main components are there in one DNA: deoxyribose sugar, phosphate group, and nitrogenous base which contains adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. A forms 2 hydrogen bond to T, G forms 3 hydrogen bonds to C. Means A binds with the T in case of DNA, whereas G binds with the C in case of DNA. In case of RNA, A binds with U, whereas G binds with C. Now here we can see the structure of DNA and RNA. This is a double-stranded DNA which contains the gene sequence. This sequence you can see, and this sequence is not similar in all the individuals. Each species, each individual from each species are having different gene sequence, different strand sequence, and that's why it gives the uniqueness for each person for his gene sequence. As we know, we all are having different fingerprints. It is just like that. So each and every person is identical. They are having their own identical gene sequences. So here in case of RNA, the ribonucleic acid is there, and it is also having the near about same sequence, because it copies the sequence from the original DNA strand. But the only difference is here, in case of DNA, the strand is ATCG, whereas here the strand is A binds with U in place of T. Here A binds with T, here A binds with U, and C binds with G. C means this cytosine, G means guanine, and A is adenine, and U is uracil, and here T is thymine. This is the only difference, thymine and uracil. Don't forget, that is only one difference. Here in case of RNA, the thymine is replaced by uracil, U. U will bind with adenine. Here adenine. Now here again we can see this is the sequence how it looks. This C binds with G, A, T. A series of 3 base pairs forms a codon, and they are also called as triplet. It is a triplet of nucleotide sequence. These are the nucleotides, and these are forming a base pair. They are having the base pair, and they are having the complement binding. Always one pyridine will bind with the one purine. So there this complement binding is there. So in that G always bind with C. It never happened that G will bind with T or C will bind with A. A will always bind with T. So this sequence always occurs in our DNA strand. Now here we will discuss what is the difference between DNA and RNA. Now I will clarify all the concepts, all the confusion in your mind regarding DNA and RNA. This DNA is deoxyribose sugar, whereas this RNA is ribose sugar. Now DNA is double stranded. They are in two strands. In DNA, A pairs with always T, and in G pairs with C, and it resides in nucleus, whereas in RNA it is a ribose sugar, and both are having pentose sugar, means 5 molecules are there, pentose sugar, ribose sugar is there, and single stranded, whereas in DNA it is double and in RNA it is single stranded strand is there. Here that it is the basic difference. In DNA, A always pairs with T, but in case of RNA, A always pairs with U, and it is same that G always pairs with C. Another difference is there, it resides in nucleus and cytoplasm, whereas it resides only in nucleus. It never go in cytoplasm. DNA never grow in cytoplasm. It go in cytoplasm for what purpose? For the purpose of protein synthesis. RNA. There are three types of RNA. In that, first is mRNA. It is a blueprint for construction of a protein. It is a plan for construction of protein. It contains all the genetic information, genetic sequence for translation. rRNA. rRNA is nothing but the ribosomal RNA, and mRNA is nothing but the messenger RNA. In this ribosomal RNA is the construction site. It provides the construction site for protein synthesis. And next is tRNA. It is also called as transfer RNA. Transfer RNA is the truck delivering the proper amino acid to the site of protein synthesis. It is required for transportation of amino acids. That's why it is mentioned as a truck. It works as a transporting vehicle. It is a transporter. This tRNA works as a transporter, whereas this rRNA give the specific location for protein synthesis, and this mRNA give the basis. It works as a railway track. We know railway track is there, so this mRNA works as a railway track, and on which this tRNA is work as a train, on which it is completely bind. Complementary binding is there, specific binds are there, and they are running in opposite direction. So in this fashion, all these types of RNA is there: mRNA, messenger RNA, rRNA, ribosomal RNA, and tRNA is transfer RNA, which transfer the amino acids. Activated charged amino acid is going to be transferred by tRNA. Okay. Now genes and proteins. Genes are the sequence of nucleotides in DNA that codes for particular protein. So genes are a sequence. They are in the typical sequence of nucleotides in the DNA that code a particular protein. For body functions, our each body parts, they require the hormones, they require the enzymes, they require the various proteinous substances, and different types of proteins required for their different types of resources, different types of agents like hormones, enzymes, glycoproteins, like that. Proteins drive cellular processes, determine the physical characteristics. So various cellular processes can be run by these proteins. For example, in case of digestive system, it secretes various enzymes which do the functions of digestion. In case of the urinary system also, the protein is having their another role. For example, renin secretes there, aldosterone secretes there. It contains proteins. In the brain also, it contains the neurotransmitters. It contains the various neurons. Neurons are made up of proteins. So like that, the protein is everywhere in our body. and manifest genetic disorders by their absence of presence. There are certain disorders like progeria. Progeria is the genetic disorder. Huntington disease. After that, the multiple sclerosis. After that, Alzheimer disease. These all are nothing but the genetic disorders which are affected by the genes. Genetic code. Proteins are composed of 20 different amino acids. These are the 20 essential amino acids are there. So they are composed of 20 different amino acids. All the amino acids are come together, grouped together by the peptidyl bond. Peptidyl bond will form between two amino acids and they will form a amino acid chain. A sequence of 3 nucleotides is used to code each amino acids. So 3 nucleotides are paired and they are forming a unit, it is called codon, and you will find this codon on your mRNA. On mRNA you will find these 3 nucleotides, they are called as codons, C-O-D-O-N, codon, and codon provides a complementary site for binding the amino acid, and at the amino acid base we are having the complementary binding, it is called anticodon. They are having the complementary binding, specific binding, they will typically bind with this codon. There are also 3 nucleotides and here are also 3 nucleotides in codon, and they will bind specifically. Each triplet of nucleotide is called as codon. So this triplet is called as codon. Start codon AUG codes. So from the AUG it is nothing but the start codon, from where the process of protein synthesis will start. So AUG codes for the amino acid methionine. Methionine is the first amino acid from which the protein synthesis will start. The process of translation will start. 3 stop codons are there in this triplet. In the triplet nucleotides there are 64 nucleotides are there, triplets are there, codons are there. Out of them 3 are the stop codons, whereas only 1 is the start codon. It is called AUG. AUG is the start codon. It will start from the AUG, start codon, and the process of protein synthesis will terminate by the stop codon. There are 3 types of stop codons are there. I will show you in the next slides. There are 64 codons in the genetic code. 4 raised to 3 means 4 cube, it is 64. 64 codons are there. Several different codons are the code for same amino acids, but no codon ever has more than one amino acid counterparts. Means several amino acids, several different codons have same code. So same code may be there, means coding may be the coding sequence may continue or may copy, it may double for the same amino acid, but no codon has more than one amino acid counterpart. Codon are always written in the form of RNA. Now here you can see these are the list of codons. So here you can see this is the start codon AUG, to which the methionine, this methionine amino acid containing tRNA will bind. This is the codon, and to which the methionine containing tRNA which is having anticodon, it will bind here. And here you can see the triplicates are there, CUU, UAG, CCC, CCG, CAG. There are various 64 types of codons are there, but out of them there are 3 stop codons: UAA, this is one stop codon, UAG, second stop codon, and UGA. These are the 3 stop codons are there. Either or, out of them any one will come at the ribosomal site, it will come there, reach there, and it is responsible or it is required for the termination of protein synthesis or translation process. And here you can see various different types of amino acids are there: leucine, this phenytoin, serine, after that alanine, lysine, asparginase, serine. So various types of these amino acids are there. They are able to having this codon triplet. So here the methionine is there, which is responsible for this 4 codon. Now characteristics of code. Continuity of genetic code reads as a long series of 3-letter codons that have no spaces for punctuation and never overlaps. Redundancy. Several different codons can code for the same amino acid, but no codon ever has more than one amino acid counterparts. Universality. The genetic code is the same in almost all living organisms, for bacteria to mammals. RNA polymerase bind to a segment of DNA and open up to the double helix. DNA polymerase is the enzyme which is responsible for transcription, and after that it is able to produce the process of transcription. Now we will start from the process transcription. In that, first step is initiation. RNA polymerase bind to the segment of DNA and open up the double helix. RNA polymerase is the enzyme which recognizes the promoter region. This is the region from which the process of transcription will start. It is called promoter region, which is the sequence of DNA rich in A and T bases found only in one strand of DNA. This is the starting point from where the process of transcription will start, and this is the enzyme RNA polymerase which is responsible for process of transcription. For transcription, this is must RNA polymerase. And RNA polymerase cannot recognize the TATA box and other landmark of promoter region on its own. Another protein, a transcriptor factor that recognizes the TATA box, bind to the DNA before the RNA polymerase can do so. So the transcription factor is there, so that recognizes the TATA box and bind to the DNA before the RNA polymerase can do so, and it also do the initiation of the process of transcriptions. For the transcription to be initiated, both promoter sequence must present in the correct locations. So all should present at the correct location. The nucleotide sequence in the promoter are slightly different from one another, which means the RNA polymerase which bind in only one orientation. Thus RNA polymerase can only face one way during transcription. This ensures transcription will proceed in only one direction. So from the third primer to the fifth primer, and from the fifth primer to the third primer, in this fashion it will go, and here from the fifth primer to the third primer, here it will go, and during this process it will do the copying of the sequences from the DNA, and it will form the near about same sequence. Here you can see same sequence in process of transcription. Now during this process, this is the DNA strand, this is one strand, second strand. From the bottom strand, here it is the enlargement of that which contains the various codons ATG, CTA and GGC. Now complementary to this original strand of DNA, it produces the complementary sequence for this one, and it is called as mRNA. It is the sequence. For example, A will bind with the U, T will bind with the A, and G will bind with the C. It is a complementary sequence. It never cross, it never vice versa. So that's why it is produced the AUAC. Try to understand what I am telling. And after that, C will bind with G, T will bind with A, and again A will bind with this U. So GAU. In this fashion, it will bind. The G will bind with C, G will bind with C, and C will bind with G. This is the another sequence. So in this fashion, another nucleotide will come again fastly here. These all processes are happening into the nucleus. Transcription will occur into the nucleus. Don't confuse the process of transcription and translation. Transcription is simply the process of copying the original sequence, and from which they are producing the new single stranded sequence, single strand of RNA, which is called as mRNA, messenger RNA. But it is not exactly same. It is complementary. It is complementary for this, but it is not exactly same sequence. It is a complementary sequence, and in this fashion the process of transcription proceeds, initiation occurs. Now elongation in transcription. The RNA polymerase use only one of the strand of DNA as a template for mRNA synthesis. This is called the template strand or sense strand. The coding strand for antisense strand contains the complementary nucleotide sequence to the sense strand. RNA polymerase can add nucleotide only to the third end of DNA sequence. Thus, the RNA molecule elongates in the 5th to 3rd primer direction. This is, mind it well, this is the always normal direction from 5th primer to the 3rd primer. Never vice versa occur. It always start from the 5th primer, never start with the 3rd primer. It will always end in the 3rd primer. Consider the following DNA sequence here. So TAC, TTA in this fashion. This is the sequence. So from the 5th primer it will go toward the 3rd primer. Now the coding strand. RNA polymerase uses the template strand to transcript. Thus the RNA is complementary to the template. Mind it well. RNA is the complementary binding to this original DNA strand. It is not exactly same. It is complementary. Earlier also I have explained to you. It is complementary binding. The coding strand is exactly identical to the mRNA, but the mRNA has uracil in place of thymine. Only thing is that in mRNA there is binding of uracil, whereas in the original strand it is the thymine. Here you can see uracil is there. Remaining all are same. Means it is look like the another strand, because another strand is complementary to this. So in place of that, it is producing the another single strand RNA with the help of RNA polymerase enzyme, and only the difference is here in DNA, to the A side it binds with the T, but whereas in the mRNA it binds with the U, it binds to the uracil. So that is only one difference, and it will forms the template, mRNA template, and it is the direction of transcriptions from the 5th primer to the 3rd primer. In this fashion it will do the transcription. I will also made one video for this, by which all the things will be clarified to you. As the RNA polymerase molecules passes the DNA helix reforms. The synthesis continues until the end of gene is reached, where the RNA polymerase recognizes as a terminator sequence. So the process of initiation and termination is found out by the RNA polymerase enzyme. So the process of termination also find out by this RNA polymerase. It can be recognized by the RNA polymerase, and the termination will occur. So here is the termination. Here the termination factor will be here. It will bind, and after that the process of this transcription will stop. So as the RNA polymerase molecules passes, the DNA helix reforms. It passes the DNA helix reforms, and synthesis continues until the end of the gene reaches to the RNA polymerase recognizes a terminal sequence. So as the terminal sequence will be there, after that the process of the transcription will stop. Once the RNA polymerase leaves the promoter region, a new RNA polymerase can bind there to begin a new RNA transcript. Since the prokaryotes lack a membrane-bound nucleus, translation can begin even before the RNA dissociates. However, pre-mRNA from eukaryotic cell needs some modification before it leaves the nucleus. So in eukaryotics there should be some modification of this formed mRNA which has been formed into the nucleus. Processing of mRNA transcript. In eukaryotes, the mRNA that is released at the end of transcription is called pre-mRNA. What is pre-mRNA? Pre-mRNA is a release. RNA is released at the end of transcription. It is called as pre-mRNA, pre-messenger RNA. Pre-mRNA undergoes several changes before it is exported out of the nucleus to protect it from the cytoplasmic environment. The fifth end of the pre-mRNA is capped with a modified form of gene nucleotide. At the third end, the enzyme in the nucleus adds the poly A tail, a long series of A nucleotides. So this from the fifth primer, the fifth end of the pre-mRNA is capped with a modified form of gene nucleotides. So gene nucleotide is there, modified form, and at the third end, the enzyme in the nucleus add the poly A tail. It is a poly A tail speaks here at the third primer, and a long series of A nucleotide. Now mRNA splicing. I already discussed also what is splicing. The uncoded form is going to be removed. Simply it is called as splicing, and spliceosomes are required for that. Now here you can see this is the mRNA which has been recently formed into the nucleus, and in that there are two parts, exon part and intron part. This exon part contains the nucleotides, it contains the proteinous substance, it contains the genetic code, whereas this intron doesn't contain the genetic code, it doesn't contain the nucleotides. The entire gene, intron and exon are transcribed by the RNA polymerase. The initial pre-mRNA contains intron that removed from the pre-mRNA by spliceosome, while the exon are spliced together. So there are some spliceosomes are here. These are called as spliceosomes. So what they are doing? Spliceosomes will bind at the junction between intron and exon. Here at both the junction they will bind, and they will keep both the ends together, and here they will cut both the ends and they will rejoin both the exons. Means it will continue the gene sequence, they will continue the codon sequence, whereas the uncoded part, unnucleotides part, ungenetic part they will remove, cut. That process is called as gene splicing or RNA splicing, and the effectors or the agents which are doing this process, they are called as spliceosomes. So these are the spliceosomes. So in this fashion, they have removed the ring of intron. Intron is the non-coding part. So they are removing this part, and after that this spliceosome is ready to further process, to do the further process of gene splicing. And this is the intact part of exon. This is, it containing the codon, it contains the genetic code. So the introns are cut out and removed from the sequence. Now this is ready for process of translation. It is a further process for protein synthesis. Now mRNA splicing, the removal of intron may follow different patterns, thus producing different proteins. So here the intron A, intron B is here. Now it can be identified by the spliceosomes, and they will remove that part and they will join together. They will remove this intron A, intron B, and they will come closer exon A1 to 3. This account for the fact that the body produces over lakhs different proteins, even though the human genome only contains 30,000 to 35,000 genes. So might well, how many types of the protein has been formed, which will require for the various enzymes, require for the various hormones, require for the neurotransmitters. These proteins are required, genetic materials are required for production of lots of cells, lots of things in our body. So here the new exon, the new mRNA has been formed. It is a furnished form, and the each different types of exons, different types of mRNA are responsible for production of different types of proteins, which are required for different types of hormones, enzymes, cells, muscles, neurotransmitters. Now here this is the gene, where you can another see blue part is nothing but the introns, these are the exons. Now this exon 1, exon 2, 3, 4, after this gene splicing, what they are doing, they are removing, cutting that part, and they are rejoining this all the exons 1, 2, 3 here, and 1, 2, 4 is here, means they are producing the alternating splicing. So they are producing two different types of protein, protein A and protein 2, which are required for different processes. Another two different types of proteins is going to be formed from this form protein A and protein B, and it is required for the next process of translation. Now we will go for the next process of translation, which is a important part of protein synthesis after transcription. After transcription, mRNA exits the nucleus via nuclear pores, and ribosomes bind to the mRNA. Ribosomes synthesize different proteins by reading the coding sequence of mRNA. The mRNA is read in triplets of nucleotides, each of which encodes an amino acids. The mRNA read the triplets of nucleotides, means it recognizes the triplets and it will bind with that typical triplets. Whereas this ribosome synthesize different proteins by reading the coding sequences on the mRNA. And consider the following mRNA sequence. This is AUG, it is a start codon AUG. After that, this is the way from which the sequence will start from 5th primer to the 3rd primer, and this is the start codon AUG, from which the process of translation will start. Now here in ribosome, it is give the space for attachment of mRNA, which is the messenger RNA, and here there is the formation of various the amino acids containing this tRNA will bind here. It is having this anticodon. Listen here, don't forget, this triplet of nucleotide are called as anticodon, and this base triplet of mRNA is called as codon. Codon will always bind with the anticodon. When the charged tRNA, which is having the newly formed amino acid, it will bind with the A side, and from here it will shifted toward the P side, and during that period the shifting of amino acid will occur, shifting from one transfer RNA to the another transfer RNA. The shifting will occurs. Transfer RNA. The ribosomes alone cannot synthesize the polypeptides. Without transfer RNA, it is just impossible to form a polypeptide. Polypeptide, it is a group, or it is a chain of amino acids which contains the peptide bond. One amino acid is bound with the another amino acid. It is called polypeptide. Poly means more than two. Polypeptide. Peptide bond is formed between two amino acids. Polypeptide chain is there. The correct amino acid must be delivered to the polypeptide building site for tRNA. So correct polypeptide, correct amino acid should be given to the site for the ribosomes for the production of typical polypeptides. That what is the requirement is there of your body. If suppose if your body requires the insulin, so according to that, whatever the sequence is required for the formation of insulin protein, the typical sequence or typical type of codon should be bind with the typical anticodon. It will bind with the typical tRNA, and it will form a typical protein. Typical group of amino acids will bind to form a specific protein for the production of insulin. Now transfer RNA, how it looks? It is a three group part is here. In that, tRNA look like a three-lobed cover leaf due to the base pairing between complementary nucleotides on different regions of each tRNA molecule, causing it to fold. So here are three leaf part is there. This one is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And this is the site for binding of amino acid. Here it will bind to the amino acids. This is the ester part is here, and this is CGG. This is the part of anticodon, and this is the codon of mRNA, which has been formed from transcription, and this codon part will typically bind with the anticodon of charged amino acid containing tRNA. All the end of one lobe of tRNA, a sequence of 3 bases called the anticodon. It recognizes and is complementary to the codon of mRNA. The anticodon sequence is written in the 3 to 5 direction. At the third end of strand is an attached site for the corresponding amino acid specified by the mRNA codon. So here we can see at the 3 site, the first amino acid, the charged amino acid methionine will bind, and it proceed the process of initiation of the translation process. So at the end of the one lobe of tRNA, a sequence of 3 bases called anticodon. So here the 3 bases are there. These are called anticodon. It is UAC, and this typical anticodon will pairs with the codon of the mRNA. The anticodon sequence is written in the 3 to 5, whereas the codon sequence from the 5th primer to the 3rd primer, here it occurs at vice versa, in opposite direction. Here in the transfer RNA, it will go from 3rd primer to the 5th primer, and the 3rd end of strand, it is attachment for the specific amino acid. Here amino acid will be attached here. Now vowel in the genetic code, although there are 64 possible codons are there. I have already shown you there are triplicate pairs of 64 of codons. Out of them, one is start codon, AUG, and 3 are stop codons, termination codons are there. The cytoplasm only hold about 35 to 45 different tRNAs. This leaves some anticodons pairing with more than one codon, creating a more lenient complement in the 3rd position. This is consistent with the redundancy of amino acids codon in the vowel position hypothesis. Now here you can see these are the amino acids which binds with tRNA. This is the glycine, this is the leucine. At the 3rd position it will bind. This is the identical leucine transfer RNA, and it will pair with the typical codons. This is the leucidine codon, this is the glycine codons here in this fashion. And here the vowel pairing is here. C binds with U. Here the normal pairing, always C binds with G. But in case of vowel pairing, this is the G should bind with C, but it binds with the U. This is called vowel pairing. Now this may occur in some cases. Amino acid tRNA synthetase. This is the enzyme which is responsible for charging of amino acid and for its binding to the tRNA. This amino acid tRNA molecule bound to its particular amino acid has 2 binding sites. One is for specific amino acids and other is for specific particular anticodon. This is for typical amino acid and for another for anticodon. It will bind with the typical codon. But both are in the enzyme's active sites. Enzyme catalyzes a reaction that bind to. So this is the enzyme, it is called amino acid tRNA synthetase. This amino acid enzyme is responsible for binding of typical amino acid to the tRNA. It is an activated amino acid to which the amino acid protein or amino acid is going to be formed. This is the charged amino acid will bind to this tRNA. Ribosomes are the site for protein synthesis. There are 2 subunits. A ribosome is a complex that contains clusters of different kinds of proteins that are RNA, which are linear stand for RNA. So they are having the 2 subunits. This is the small ribosomal subunit and it is called the larger subunit. Both the subunits are required for the process of translation. The smaller subunits give supports from the lower side and the larger subunit are give the site area for attachment of that amino acid containing tRNA. The ribosome has binding sites for mRNA transcript and the amino acid molecules. There are 3 sites. This is A sites, it is also called as acceptor site. This is P site, it is also called as peptidyl site, and this is E site, it is also called as exit site. So in the A site there is the attachment of newly formed charged amino acid containing tRNA will bind here, and after that it will do the movement here. It is called translocation, and during this it will exchange of amino acid will occurs from the earlier amino acid containing tRNA will give that amino acid to the next tRNA. That process will continue, and it will start from the start codon. It is called AUG. It is a start codon. The initiation of process will start from the start codon. Each active ribosome has 3 different binding sites for tRNA molecules. The P site, which holds one amino acid tRNA and the growing chain of amino acids. The A site, which holds the tRNA bringing the next amino acid to be added to the chain, and the E, also called as exit site, which releases the tRNA molecules back into the cytoplasm for the further process. Now, the anticodon of an amino acid tRNA molecules bind to the mRNA codon exposed in the A site. So, this is the newly formed charged amino acid containing transfer RNA. Now it will binds here at the A site, at the acceptor side. Okay. Now after that, by consuming the 2 GTP, going to convert into the 2 GDP, and after that what will happen? It will bind here. After binding here, the next process is the bond between amino acid and the earlier transfer RNA which contains the amino acid, the bond will break there. Deacetylation will occur, and due to which it releases that amino acid, and the new charged amino acid transfer RNA will take that amino acid from the earlier transfer RNA, and it will produces the chain. And after that, again there is consumption of 2 GTP, and here what will happen? Now the translocation occurs from the A site to the P site. Earlier this transfer RNA was at the P site. Now it will come toward the E site, and earlier and the new transfer RNA which was at the A site, now it will shift toward the P site, and from the A site the old tRNA will dissociate, will lose the place of ribosome. It will go into the cytoplasm, and in this fashion the process of prolongation, this process of elongation of this peptidyl chain will occur, and this will form the new protein. So the enzyme that catalyzes the formation of bond between the last amino acid on the lengthening peptide and the new amino acid. So the bond between the old amino acid and the new amino acid will form, peptide bond will form. The polypeptide chain is transferred from tRNA in the P site to the mRNA at the A site, and after that this chain which was at the P site transfer RNA, this chain will shift from the P site transfer RNA to the A site transfer RNA. The ribosome moves down the mRNA strand, shifting the binding site a distance of 3 nucleotides, and this is called as translocation. So when the tRNA shift from the old site to the new site, means from A site to the P site and from the P site to the E site, so that shifting is called as translocation. And without translocation, the process of this translation doesn't occur. Don't confuse between translation, transcription and translocation. Translocation means when the amino acid is transferred from A site to P site, simply that is called as translocation. A new A site is exposed as the tRNA that was in the P site is moved to the E site and released. Now as the new transfer RNA has shifted toward the P site, it comes here, and the old was shifted toward the yield site, and from E site it go away, it leaves the ribosomes, and this site is ready for attachment of new amino acid tRNA, and the process will continue. At how much time it will continue? Till the stop codon will comes here. Now from the start codon it will start from the AUG, and once the stop codon will come here, at that time no attachment of further amino acyl tRNA will occur, and whatever the protein or the polypeptide amino acid chain is formed, it is released into the cytoplasm for its further use. Now here, this is the codon, this is the anticodon, this is the tRNA which contains methionine at the 3' of the tRNA, and here there is starting of the process of translation begins. Now here, this is the new transfer RNA, and this whole chain will shifted. The bond between two amino acid peptidyl bond will form. Here the deacylation will occur, it will leaves this. After that the translocation will occur. This new tRNA will shifted toward the P site, and the old one will shifted toward the E site and will leaves. This is the now it is placed ready for attachment of new amino acid. In this fashion the process will continue till we are getting the complete amino acid chain, or we are getting the stop codon. Termination of protein synthesis. How it terminates? The translocation of ribosome exposed a stop codon. I have also already told you, stop codon is responsible for termination of our process of protein synthesis. Stop codon at the A site will come there in place of tRNA, in place of amino acid tRNA. Stop codon will reach out that A site, and stop codon do not code for amino acid. It don't have any code for amino acid. It is simply the code for stop or termination, and there are no corresponding tRNA as well. A protein called release factor bind to the exposed A sites. So release factor is there. It is also another symbol for termination. It will release at the A site and causing a polypeptide to separate from remaining tRNA molecules. So whatever the newly formed polypeptide is there, means newly formed protein is there, that long chain of amino acid is there, that will be released into the cytoplasm. It will into cytoplasm for further change. After that it will go into the Golgi apparatus, Golgi complex, for its modification. Now ribosomes fall, all the RNA and translation stops. So in this fashion, in the ribosomes the translation will stop with the help of release factor, which can be released with the help of the stop codon, and stop codon will be released at the A site without any transfer RNA. Here the termination of process will occurs. Here this is the A site. To this A site the stop codon will come here, and there is no transfer RNA, and after that this chain, peptide chain, polypeptide chain is there, it will release, and the factor will come here already, release factor will come here. After that it will break down this bond, this ester bond deesterification will occur, ester bond will break down from here and will release this polypeptide into the cytoplasm. Here stop codon is encountered, release factor bind to the stop codon, polypeptide chain released into the cytoplasm, and the components separates. After that the dissociation of the tRNA, dissociation of the ribosomes, and both the subunits, larger and smaller subunits, all these apparatus, all these agents will release, dissociates, and they are ready for next further protein synthesis. So in this fashion we have covered the whole process in details regarding protein synthesis, where the two processes occurs. One is transcription and another is translation. In details we have studied this. Okay, thank you for watching my video. Bye.